How do you go from this, where you can't even see my hair, to this nice, bouncy, full, long and strong natural hair? In today's video, I talk to you about how to go natural, how do you start a natural hair journey? And so just to remind you that hair grows about ½ an inch per month. If your hair is straight, you can just measure it quite easily. If your hair is coily, it might be a little bit more difficult to measure, but everybody gets about ½ an inch of hair per month. That means that for the year, you'll probably gain 6 inches. This is my hair at the very start of my natural hair journey. I had quite damaged hair, and it was really badly damaged, and I couldn't do anything with it. Well, I was trying to grow it out, but because it was so damaged, I couldn't really continue with what I had, so I decided to do a big chop. And so I'm going to talk about really how do you go from relaxed hair to natural hair. So really at the very start, if you are relaxed, or probably if you already have natural hair, it's damaged from certain practices that you're doing. Your ends could be rubbing on different fabrics, and could mean you have split ends, etc. How do you go from having badly damaged hair or relaxed hair to having nice natural hair? So the very first thing I'm going to say is, remember that this hair, once you are going to have your big chop, that this is going to be the oldest part of your hair. So I strongly believe that when you stop all the bad practices, you need to start developing good habits for this big chop hair, from big chop to neck length, because that's going to one day be the longest part of your hair. So I would say start strong. Start with very good practices from the start. That means strengthening your hair with henna or any other Veda, making sure that all the bad ends are cut off. You want to start with a new slate of hair. So if your natural hair is badly damaged, do go ahead, cut that off, and have a brand new slate to work with. So I did texlax my hair at one point on my natural hair journey. It wasn't really a full relaxer, so it was just put the relaxer on for about quarter of the time, just to say, as I said at the time, to soften my hair, not knowing that I was still damaging the bonds in my hair, and it would still be classed as a relaxer, and I would still get all the problems of relaxed hair. So that's what I did. I texlaxed, it was called, and this was my hair texlaxed. It still looks very natural, but if you look closely, it's sort of like wavy, and my hair is not naturally wavy, so it made it a little bit more relaxed. But a little bit more relaxed is still a relaxer. And with this kind of hair, I really tried for about a year and a half to maintain this hair, and I sort of chopped some of it off, and I was making good progress, but still it was damaged, and so I had to do a big chop. But you don't always have to go natural by doing a big chop. You can still really just stop the relaxer. So if you stop the relaxer, what will happen to your hair is that it will start to what we call transition. And if your hair is transitioning, it's going from one state to the next state. So if your hair is in a transitioning phase, it means that you stop the relaxer and you've started to get new growth. Okay, so once you stop your relaxers, like for my texlaxed hair, my hair will start to transition. So every new growth that I get will become natural hair. Okay, and now that natural hair will become the oldest part of all of my natural hair, which points back to what I was saying, that you need to start really taking care of this natural hair. So the new growth is unprocessed. Sometimes it's not really the actual texture of your own hair. It can have a different sort of texture, so you're gonna have to learn to deal with that as well. So sometimes your new growth don't actually look like what your hair is going to be. Okay, if you've had relaxer all your life, it can be quite difficult at the stage where you do a big chop or start to transition to deal with your own natural hair if you've never dealt with that before. So be prepared for that. You're gonna have to start looking at what your actual hair looks like. When I did my big chop, this is some pictures of my big chop, or just a bit of growth with my new hair. I didn't really know that was the texture of my hair. It looked so beautiful. So, I just started to take time to look at my hair. And so that's the stage you're going to be in. If you've either stopped the relaxers or you've done a big chop, you're going to be in sort of a discovery phase with your hair. Okay, so this is a stage where you start to really look at your own hair and see what it needs and sort of like, decide on a routine and a regimen for it. Learn your hair, get to know what it likes, what it dislikes, get to know its textures, get to know the porosity of your hair. And that's really a nice, wonderful phase to start off your natural hair journey once you've started to transition or started to big chop. Once again, it's not just people who've had relaxers that do a big chop. I've done several big chops along the way. Even this year, I've cut off 6 inches of hair, but I didn't do one big chop. I did several smaller chops, which added up to a big chop. So at any stage in your natural journey, you might decide to do a big chop, which is just to start again. These tips are useful for that. I'm going to just say, if you've not subscribed to my channel, do go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It really would mean a lot to me. And leave me a comment below if you are going to big chop, or if you've just done a big chop, or what you've learned from your big chop to help the community. So get to know your hair, get to know what it likes, get to know what it dislikes, and start to learn it. Start to treat this new growth very, very well. I would say start your henna treatments, start your strengthening treatments, start your protein treatments to really make your hair strong enough. On this channel, we talk about building and growing strong hair to make your hair strong enough, because that is going to be the oldest part of your hair. Okay, so transitioning can make it hard to deal with the hair. So if you're going from a relaxer, you're transitioning out to become natural, you're going to want to learn to deal with both textures. For me, I had my new growth and I had my lax texture to deal with. And after a year of dealing with that, I decided to big chop. But some people decide to continue that transitioning process for well over 3 years, just chopping off bit by bit that they're comfortable with. And that is all okay as well. There's very many different ways to go natural, to big chop, or to transition. It's all the same. Just make sure that your new growth that's coming in is well treated, because that is going to become the oldest part of your hair. Dealing with the transitioning hair, I would say do styles that's suitable for both textures. Just make it look presentable, because it's going to be hard to have straight ends and to have natural curly coily roots. So you're going to have to try styles like Bantu knots and different ones that show really well how the textures can mix together. It can be quite a difficult stage to transition, but you definitely can do it now that you've decided to go natural. Okay, so the transitioning stage is really a discovery phase as well. You decide how much you're going to chop off each time, but your hair that's growing, also the transitioning ends can drag your hair out to make it look a different texture. So it's really all about learning your hair. I say take mini trims and dusts as necessary, because you don't want the damage from the hair that you're no longer processing to be dragging down your natural hair. And style your hair in suitable styles to get through this phase. Otherwise, you can decide that my natural hair is too much and you can go back to start processing your hair. Or you can go back to your old habits and start to lose all the progress that you've made. There's scab hair at this stage. Once again, also the line of demarcation between your natural hair and your relaxed hair. You might find that you lose clumps of your relaxed hair when that demarcation line can't cope anymore and just decides to break away. So you're gonna have to be dealing with probably different lengths and different textures, and which is why some people just say, I'm gonna start with a big chop with 0 inches of hair and start again. But once again, that is your choice of how to go natural, the big chop, the transition, etc. For me, I decided to transition for a year, and then I decided to big chop. So hopefully some of these tips have helped you. I would say go straight ahead and do what is best for you. For me, that was the transition and then the big chop. But whatever one of these you choose, to transition or to big chop, to go natural, my tips is to have patience. Have a lot of patience. You will need it. Remember, everything in life takes time, and this is a journey. It's not going to all happen in one day. You're not going to wake up and have the perfect head of natural hair. That's why I'm still on my natural hair journey. So just have patience. Learn your hair. Deal with both the textures. Do continue to research, etc. And I say use henna or something that's very, very strong, that's going to set up that hair, the new growth, which is going to become the oldest part of your hair. Just use something that's going to make your hair really, really strong, because strong hair retains length. okay? And add moisture. Always add moisture to your hair. Always add moisture, because then that hair that's growing in will be well moisturized. You'll not have lots of split ends, a lot of dryness, and break away your progress. So always have moisture and protein and get the balance right. Scalp massages and things like that can help the growth. So if you have really short hair from your big chop and you're wanting to get over that awkward stage, you can start to do scalp massaging and other things that can help you to grow your hair. And avoid heat, especially if you're going to transition, where you have the straighter ends and the natural curly or coily roots. It might be tempting to keep straightening that natural hair to blend in with that transitioning hair. However, you're going to have a lot of problems with the new growth, because it's going to also be damaged from all of the heat damage. So just be careful when you're going through this stage. And remember that, having natural hair is wonderful. You can stop going to, the salon every 6 to 8 weeks to get this done. You will save money. Look on all the bright side of going natural, why you decided to go natural. You're going to just really be starting to accept what you actually look like. And if you really want to have straight hair, there are some naturals that go, that are straight naturals. So there are ways to have your natural hair more straighter if you're just wanting to have that ease of dealing with it. You won't have all of that chemical on your scalp, and it will make life a lot easier. So I hope that these tips in this has really helped you. Do go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It really means a lot to me. Now that we have covered how to go natural via transitioning or the big chop, you should have, probably after a year or, 8 months, you should have about neck length hair. So really this video is covered, the first early growth, which should take you to neck length. In my next video, I give you tips on how to go from neck length to shoulder length, and then from shoulder length to armpit and bra strap length. This is a series of videos to motivate you to go natural, to stay natural, and to look after your natural hair. So my next video will cover how to, once you've done that big chop, you've got a couple of inches of hair, it's about neck length. How do you go from there to shoulder length? How do you start to really grow out your natural hair? So look out for that one as well. Hopefully in today's video you've learned, that you can big chop or you can transition when you want to go natural. That's okay, whatever choice you make. However, that new growth that's coming in needs extra TLC. You need to strengthen it. You need to add moisture. You need to stimulate the growth. You need to learn how to deal with that hair, which is your hair. So that's going to mean you're going to study your hair and get to know what it likes and what it dislikes, to make sure that this foundation, this first set of hair that's growing in, that's going to become the oldest part of your hair, that it is long, healthy, and strong. I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It would really mean a lot to me. See you later and take care. Bye bye.